Welcome to the Maria Montessori Project, which is my dream of somehow dramatizing the life of this incredible woman, either as a play or a movie, a mini series. I really have no experience with making films or plays of any kind. But I am so motivated to share the importance of her life and work. And I think the best way to do it is through drama, through storytelling, because there have been documentaries about her life. They're kind of fair to middling documentaries that they don't really get at why she's so critical to contemporary life today. There's two biographies out there, which are one is pretty good, one's not as good, but they do cover the bare facts of her life and her position sort of as a revolutionary educator. And there's plenty of books out there about her education method. But none of them really get at the fact that well, some of them do. I shouldn't say none of them do, but they do it in sort of a dry academic way. They get at the fact that her discoveries weren't really just about a method of education that you can compare with other methods of education for children and sort of pick one that suits you. She herself said that she didn't discover a way of education, she discovered the child. Okay, what does that mean? What she did was she discovered the unique developmental stage that is childhood. So, what Montessori discovered was the unique role that children play in maintaining the health and peacefulness of adult communities. So, what she realized was that childhood was almost like a unique form, a unique expression of humanity, and that if we don't actively support that expression and incorporate it into the adult community, that all of humanity suffers. And so she said education should be thought of as active help given to the unfolding of life. And this difference between her approach to education and other educational methods is really palpable. Um, the first time that I observed a Montessori classroom, I was a young mom with a 2-year-old and an infant. And I was looking for a preschool for my 2-year-old. And I thought, well, maybe when she was 3 or 4, she would go to preschool. And living in affluent community, all of this stuff is very competitive. You've got to get on waiting lists and whatever. So I started observing at different preschools in my area. And there was one that was about 20 minutes away, and it was a Montessori school, which I knew it was a preschool. I didn't know what Montessori meant at all. I hadn't been exposed to it before, but just had heard about it, as a preschool method. So I went and observed in this classroom, and I have to tell you that it was a spiritual experience for me. Um, they, the classroom, if you've ever been in a Montessori classroom, you know that everything is child size, of course, and it's laid out in such a way as if you're almost going into I would say something like a library or an activity center where there's no real central point in the room, but there's little low shelves and tables and all around, so you don't really know where the focal point is. And the children are all active within the room. So I go in and they give me a little chair to sit in, a child-sized chair to sit in, because all the adults are like down at the level of the kids, so you don't even know where the teacher is, or you know what role the teacher is playing by being in the room. But so I sat down, and what I observed was this incredibly quiet, peaceful, calm environment in which children were moving about freely, uh, respectful of each other and the environment, and many were just actively, deeply engaged in the some activity that they had chosen. And I didn't know what these materials were about or anything. I just saw kids with trays and materials on the floor or on a table, and just working with them. And the like I said, the peacefulness of the classroom is striking. It infects you when you're there. And the children were very free in coming up to talk to me. Some of them kind of ignored me because they were very busy with other things and I wasn't that interesting. But some came up to show me something they were working on, or ask me my name and tell me their name. So they were very free in their interactions with adults. And when I saw that, I just had tears in my eyes, and I said, I want this for my kids. I want this kind of experience. And that's what um, Montessori was getting at when she said active help given to the unfolding of life. What she meant was that children are equipped with everything they need to grow and develop and mature according to their own timetable. And what adults need to do is just create environments in which they can actively pursue their own growth and development. Education is not something adults do to children, it's something children are doing and adults are facilitating by making safe environments in which they can move about freely and safely without any harm coming to them. So I, enrolled my children, and then as they got older and were in elementary programs in Montessori, I got my Montessori training, and I became a Montessori educator. And the more I have experienced what she was about, because as an educator, you're just learning how to implement her method. But now, as a researcher, I'm a blogger and a writer about current events. Um, and the more I have studied the dynamics of conflict and violence and war um, in global situations, and the more now I've come to understand her life and mission and method, the more I realize that what she has to say about the role of children in building peaceful communities is essential to our time and our efforts to build more peaceful communities today. So that's why I've thought, I've blogged and I write, and people have written loads of books about her method, but the message about her relevance to peace building hasn't quite entered into the mainstream. And so that's what I'm trying to do with this project. As I said, I know nothing about filmmaking, or playwriting, but I have people that I can talk to about it, and I've started these kinds of conversations. So what I want to do is bring you into these conversations and help me figure out exactly what shape this project is going to take. And I also want to talk to people who really understand the dynamics of conflict and the dynamics of the Montessori method, so that we can learn together more and more about the relevance of her method, and how she suggested um, that we go about incorporating children into adult community and adult life. So I hope you'll join me. This is the first of what I hope will be many interesting videos. I really welcome your feedback and comments, and in particular, questions about Montessori or about your own parenting or teaching challenges, if you will, or joys. I mean, part of what I've become a grandma in the last couple of years, and I've got two more grandchildren on the way, and part of what just puts that zing in my life is the joy of being around children and the incredible wonder and love that just flows out of them. And if you're willing to receive it, just opens your heart. So if you have stories to share about the power of children to renew and increase your own life experiences, please share those as well. So I look forward to hearing from you, and see you soon.